second. Welcome, everyone. This is John Tiamisha. Today is February 9th. I'm thinking in Circassian, I'm speaking English. Did I say the month? Yes, it's February 9th. We're doing our little warm-up dance as people are coming in. We were just chatting. Netin is a episode. It's an episode. So you could say serial. Serial is kind of an international word. It means like a series. He was watching a series. You know, I try to speak a little bit more clean. I try to avoid loan words if I can. So netin would be an episode. It could be an audio episode. It could be a video episode. So, Maydeen.
Sit.
Dawashit.
How do you say I'm tired again?
Seza shash.
Seza shash.
Seza shash. Huabju seza shash. Quadu seza shash. Very. I'm very tired. I'm very tired. Yeah. Wala janoba. Did you work today?
No, I work tomorrow. School today. Sejay solaja.
What? Dorasa wala ja. Did you work yesterday?
No.
How? Wiana dawashit.
Circassian. No, that's not the right thing to say. I just said I'm good. Wiana tamamsh.
Siana tamamsh. Khunsta. Wianam salam swehij.
Walaikum hi. She always says hi back, but Sam swehij.
Okay, so you say walaikum hi.
Yeah.
Walaikum hi. Go Lakers. Something like
Go
that.
Lakers.
Go Lakers. Hola.
Sit Janti.
Dawashit.
Kharzanish with Dawashit.
Sarisa Kharzanish. Is your full name Ola, or is Ola short for something different?
No, it's just Ola.
Ola?
Like in Arabic, it's Ola.
Ola. Okay, so this is, I get confused because I'm like, it cannot be Ola. Like I was talking to my wife, like, yeah, we have this girl Ola. She's like, oh, you mean Ola? Because Ola is short for Olga Paruski.
Yeah.
And I have a cousin named Natasha. My family's from Syria, so I figured, hey, you know, if we named my cousin Natasha, maybe they named somebody Olga and you go by Ola. But then I remember in class last week, somebody said like Ola or something. I'm like, no, it's not the Russian Ola.
I get it all the time at work. They're like, oh, so it's like a shortcut for a what? I'm like, nothing. It's just Ola. So they think it's Olga, or they come up with different names. But yeah, like if you want to say it in Arabic, it's Ola.
Give me 1 second.
Literally bracelets.
Okay. Sorry, I'm doing daddy duty tonight because my wife is late coming back from an appointment. So, what's the Sanoba, Ola?
Sasi Soja?
Sase Jash.
Oh, Sejash.
Sitwe
Was in Shara management assignments.
Oh, was in Shara management le Jara. Was in Shara management le Jara. I'm sure it was very exciting.
A lot. How much?
I mean, it's not up there with like verb conjugation of Kabardian verbs, but it's high up there. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Maydeen, whoopsawi'a.
How do you say work?
Le Jara.
Le jara.
Le
Le
Jara.
jara.
Le Jara.
Le
Or
jara.
there's two ways you can say it. You can say le Jara, or you can say oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
What's the difference between the two?
Oh, yeah. The same.
Oh. Is it like a synonym, or is it literally the same, just different way to say it?
Let me think for an example. What's the difference between a cup and a cup and a? It's the same. Like I'm trying to think of an example. Like, what's the difference between soda and pop? In some parts of the country, people say pop. In some parts of the country, people say soda. Same
that-
concept. Same concept. Oh, whichever one's easier for. Which one's easier for you?
Oh.
Oh, 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 si ash. Oh, si ash. I had work. I have work. Oh, si anosh. I will have work. Oh.
Okay.
Mr. Bzaja.
ده وش جانتي
Si tlaquitum sa shits. What that was?
أرزنا السليسي لقيتم شتش
What you jiri wal azra?
ده تقصو العجة
Taqwa laza. Mr. Harachat Bank mshish. Ara.
ده
Commercial
أنت
bank.
حركة بنك
Yeah. Khunsta. We ma khwa dawa zara khwa noba.
سيماخور خرزنش شججم أو قد سياش أو يجبستو توكسياش
Maasha si ash.
معش أسياش أنت معش أسياش
Khunsta. We were now dawa shit.
خرزنش بسوري خرزنش سيانرا سيقاشخرا بسوري تمامش
Salam squeakers.
وعليكم السلام
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Satanai.
دعوة وشت جانتي
Sakharzanash. Satamamsh. What dawa shit?
ساسي بوفا
Ooh, gufa. Sitchacha.
سش أرقم
Sarkam. That's a great reason. That's the best reason. You're happy and you don't know why. That's great. That's great.
Good word
Tam-
today.
Tambi dawashit.
تامبي دغوش
Dawos. We sabichri.
سي سابيخري دغوش
Dawos. Dawa. Hamana dawa didda.
دغو ضد
Dawa didda. Dawa didda. Tallahassee, Noba, Kwaba, Hamara Sha'a. Jacksonville.
شقة but not شقة like Chicago.
Sit Khudizra Sha'a we dish Janova. Sit Khudizra. How cold is it today?
It's in the 50s.
Oh, so it's like 17 degrees for our friends in Canada. 15, 17 degrees. Arsha did this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Khunsta. Tambira we sabichum salam swikij. Noor.
في بشح ويبشح شافوه جانتي
What do we bshahash hafua? We examine her bucha hamarajiri zakwachra.
عار بخاش
Buchash.
our exam whatever I sit خدا examiner ساش أرقم I'm trying to say whatever I had on the exam isn't what I studied for originally.
Ah. Sit lagatawa arakam sisik hazrat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that's interesting one. Yeah, whatever they showed me is not what I was ready for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
sorry تمام الحمد
Sorry.
لله.
Allah hamji am. Wasit shogo bukhano magam hamra qatshashliqwa gharb.
كزغورة
Sit shogo bukhano we universiteter.
شغوة what was شغوة again?
When? Sit shogo is when.
ست شغوة تواسة
Dawasa bucha. Zafacha, you're completely done with university?
how
Zaman, quite. Oh, we fash khuntakam sit with these.
سخوي أو مي مازم بخاش
Bukhinush.
بخنوش
Okay, Arashi naqagha, may, naqagha.
نقرأ مازم
Haju bukhino.
هج عارف هج
Diplom karatino abinuj.
how يخس قاقوة
Ah, qagabtsaqwa, liar. I finished yesterday. No, I finished in May. No, I finished in May 5 years from now.
الله حمجي سخوي
Yeah, you know, he sees some pretty girls. He wants to impress them. I got this big degree. Then he gets called out on it. You know, I tell you. Sarah,
جانتي
what that was it?
خرزنش دوشت
Sarisa tamamsh. What's it pshanoba?
نوبة سلاجاش
دنا وش لجا
دنا in a hospital
smajashim.
مجاشم
Smaja is to be sick. Smajashim is a hospital. I nebelnica inal. Nebelnica smajashim. In Nalchik, they always use the Russian word for hospital. It's like a little pet peeve of mine. Smajashim. Khatu was Ralaja. What do you do for a living at the hospital?
I work in clinical research.
Okay, that's
So
beyond.
I don't
me.
know how to say
Yeah.
that.
I work in research. Was in Shara. So was in Shara is health, right? Is research.
What the sorry, how do you what
Research.
what the no?
Mhm.
Got it.
Findings, the state of findings. That's what
Mhm.
means. Okay. Did anybody not speak? Did we just lose a person? Yamiz. You know what?
We
I think,
probably lost connection on the tunnel.
yeah, or they found him in his office and they kicked him out. Got to get out of here. All right. So let's get into the class. Let me share. Well, we're in the class. Let me share my screen. All right. He's coming back in. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. So I want to try something. This is like the week of experimentation. Last week, Maydeen, you missed a really awesome class.
Yeah, I bet.
And I'm sure you watched the video 2 or 3 times just to catch up. I know how
Oh, I
diligent
watched
you
it.
are.
I watched it 5 times. I documented
Wow.
every single thing you said.
I know.
Documented whenever you breathed.
I know. So I'll just give you the short overview. We did what's called the linking game, where one person said something, and then another person said what they said, and what the last person said, so on and so forth, until we got to the last person, who was Yanal. And Yanal is like, he said this and she said that, but I say this other thing.
Oh my.
And it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy, but I think people had a good time. The other section, they really enjoyed it as well. But in that class, there's like 18 or 20 people. So it got really interesting there. I actually had to take notes. I have a work meeting that popped up yesterday for tomorrow. So I have to cancel tomorrow's Eurasian class. And I'm trying to keep you guys at the same level so that it's just easier to manage and you guys can pop back and forth. By the way, Albert, did you get the note that said that tomorrow's class is canceled?
No.
You did not?
How?
Okay, I'll check that.
9.
9. That's not good.
When did you send it?
I sent it today, this afternoon.
Question, is there a 0 in Adi Ghabza,
In what sense?
number-wise?
Saved as draft. Crap. Send now. Hang on.
Mhm.
Thank you, Albert, for letting me know, because otherwise this would not have gone out. Technically, yes, but almost nobody uses it. We just say ziri.
Mhm.
We just say ziri, but a lot of people say null.
I see. Bezach, we don't believe in surrendering. So there's no word for surrender, right?
There is a word for surrender. Off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. So I think that's the first time in this class that somebody gave me a word I don't know off the top of my head.
That and clinical.
Clinical. No, we don't. Doesn't exist. Clinicalne.
Where's the word for dialect?
Dialect.
Oh, tough one.
Dialect.
Okay.
There's a lot of ways we can say things. It's sometimes just faster to take a loan word, but if you wanted to say it cleanly, you could say the way they speak there.
Dialect is good.
Yeah. So you should be getting that notice any minute now, because I just sent it out, and I'm glad I asked you, actually. Yeah. So what I wanted to do in this class so that we don't kind of move out of order is do another little experimentation. And what I want to do in this class, I have a translator. She's a very private person. She works on the radio, but she's a private person. I can't figure that out. So I'm not going to say her name. Well, I'll give you her nickname, Zara. Her name is Zara. So she works with me to develop a lot of the teaching materials that we have. She works in broadcast radio in Nalchik. She's a very sweet person. She's a friend of mine, friend of Margot's. Her son's name is Jean Huas. So my name is Gentil. So we have that in common as well. And we are coordinating right now on a short book, a graded reader that's also a dual text reader, to give you guys more practice, to give anybody more practice, you know, learning, reading, stuff like that. So the way that we're doing it, we're collaborating back and forth, and we email each other. And my Circassian, you know, I kind of shock myself sometimes. My Circassian is strong enough now that she can write to me and I can write back to her without, I'm sure I make mistakes, but the point is, like, there's nothing she writes to me, and she works in the public radio, right? So she writes to me and there's nothing I don't understand. She's probably simplifying her speech a little bit. I don't know. But I thought, you know, in a lot of classes I've taken in high school and stuff, they'll say, here's a typical letter between two people. It's like, dear mother, I have woken up very early at summer camp and I did all these. It's like all fake stuff, you know, like people don't talk like that. People don't live like that. So what I thought I'd do in today's class, so that I can kind of keep you guys moving along, but not move you out of sync with the curriculum that I have with the other class, we could spend a little bit of time going through this email, and we can kind of, you can see what modern speech looks like in the modern world, not like my father had a good harvest this year and our farm has many apples, that kind of stuff. You guys okay with this for a little bit?
Yeah,
Yes.
Give it a shot. Yeah.
I
All
can
right.
read the first sentence.
Okay, so read the first sentence to me.
Oui, ma foi, foi gentil.
Yeah. Oui, ma foi gentil. All right. So let's do this piece by piece. All right. So my friend Zara. So again, the context here is I have a manuscript. I have a draft of a book. It's it's 100 very short stories that are chapters that take you through this mystery detective thing. I think I read to you guys one of the first chapters a couple of classes ago. Sabina and Westman, they're on vacation, that kind of thing. So it's written in English, it's written in Russian, and now she's working. I wrote some of the draft of Circassian, but she's refining it. And we're collaborating back and forth on this. So starts off, the size is good enough. It's not too small for you guys. Okay. We ma'kuf Janti. Good day to you, Janti. Sitwi khabar. What's news? What's your news? What's your story? What's new with you? All sitwi khabar. What is your story? What's new with you? Sitwi khabar. Fuzan shapsori. Who knows what that means?
Is everybody good?
Yeah. Fuzan shapsori. Fuzansha. Wazinsha is healthy. Fa is you guys. Psori is everybody. Are you guys all healthy? Are you guys all healthy? Maydeen, what's that word?
Margot.
Margot. It's my wife. Margot Sabicher Dawashit.
How's
George.
Margot and Sabina doing?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No, it's okay. That's okay. I was going to ask you to translate, but Maydeen already did it. Margot Sabicher. It's okay. It's okay. Margot Sabicher Dawashit. So, we ma'kuf Janti. Sit we khabar. Fuzan shapsori. Margot Sabicher Dawashit. Okay. Yanal, read this.
Siberia, Chicago.
Siberia. So we were talking, I forget, it was on WhatsApp, or I wrote her an email. I told her about Siberia instead of Siberia for Chicago. Siberia, Chicago, Khuja. Siberia, Chicago, Khuja. Noor, Yamiz, what do you think she's saying here?
Some Siberia, I guess that's your joke about Chicago.
Khuja. Who knows what it means?
I don't know.
Khuja.
Get better, cure.
Get better.
It's become.
Did it become better? Khuja.
Mm.
Khuja. Chabirir Chicago Khuja. Has it become better there? Right? Hamra or Samahur, winter. This is a word you've never seen before. Yitzuh. Yitzuh. Until. Or for the duration of. For the duration of. Sibirum, Siberia. Fashipsawano. What does psawano mean? Or psawun?
Is it like to live there
To live.
or to stay there?
So if I say Ola, I say, Dano shipso. What am I asking you?
Where I live.
Where you live. So now what she's saying is, Fashipsawano. Are you going to live there? Now she's referring to a very specific place, right? So Chabirir Chicago Khuja. Hamra Samahur Yitzuch Sibirim Fashipsawano. Has the Chiberia of Chicago improved, gotten better? Chabirir Chicago Khuja. Hamra or Samahur Yitzuch for the duration of the winter. Sibirim Fashipsawano. Or will you be living in Siberia? Okay. Nachwaba, nach. It means more. Nach, huaba, huaba, huaba. Nachwaba, khuzawa. So up here we say khuza. So this is the same word, khuzawa, but it's an adverb form. Just grammatical stuff, same verb. Okay. Khuzawa, tam, qashirach. Qashirach. Qashirach, to make it so. To make it so. So, nakhwaba khuzawa tam qashirach. Now, what do you, and Satanai, what do you think this means?
God make it warmer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Nakhwaba khuzawa tam qashirach. May God make it warmer. Okay. And then she says something really nice here. I really like, what I like about the way that she speaks very properly, but she speaks very accessibly. You know, it's all proper, grammatically proper. She uses all the nice words, but she's not speaking the way Shakespeare would have spoken, you know. She's speaking in very accessible, but very modern speech. So, sa, cold, me, cold. Sa, air, the very cold. The very cold. Safafqam. Safafqam. I don't like. Safafqami. I don't like and. I don't like and. Zimi. No one. Nobody. No one. Abicha. Abicha means over there. But here what she's referring to is not over there in a physical sense, but over there in a abstract sense. Over there being referring to the cold. Referring to the cold. Abicha. And then this is a big word. Sehwapsirkum. Sehwapsirkum. So the verb here is, what she's saying is sohwapsa. Sohwapsa. Does anybody know what it means if I say sohwapsa?
Jealous?
Yearning for, wanting, like
Desire.
Oh,
desire.
desire.
Wish.
Yeah.
I wish, I desire. Okay, I want, not envious, maybe in
Yeah.
Western, sometimes in Western dialect, the words change a little bit, like gusha'an means to joke for us, but for Western, it means to have a conversation. So
Yeah,
sometimes
it's actually the same. You're right. I used the wrong word in English, but I
Okay.
know it as more wish and not like envious thing.
Yeah, so it means to wish. So we would say, "Sasohuapsa, sasohuapsa." So my daughter, Baba, sabostedahasohuapsa. I'm dreaming of a beautiful dress. I'm desiring a beautiful dress. She's 4 years old, right? So the verb here, sohuapsa, I wish for, I desire. And so here we see sehua, sehua. So when I say, Sarah, when I say salam swehij, what does that mean in English?
Like say hi to the person.
Yeah. So what that prefix of swa, it means do it on someone else, do it on my behalf to someone else. Okay. So what she's saying here, this, I love the way that the construction here. I don't wish it on. Because she negates it at the end, right? Right? She negates this. I don't wish it upon. That means to do it on salam swehij. We can say, read me this book. So it's doing it for someone else, on behalf of someone else, right? So what she says here, sa sha'air safafqami zimiya bitcha sahwabsirqam. I don't like the bitter cold, the very cold. I would say bitter cold here. I don't like the bitter cold, and I would not wish that on anyone. I would not wish it on anyone. Everything clear so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this feeling like Klingon, or is this feeling accessible as I break it down for you?
Accessible.
Just love the fact that I'm reading.
Okay. You're reading Klingon.
Yeah.
So then what does she say? Gentil. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Rahaj. Okay. What does it mean if I say qah?
Bring.
Bring. Qah. So if I say qahij,
Bring
what does
back.
that mean? Bring it back. Bring it back. Qah. 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 See, akhshar qah. Bring me the money. Akhshar qah. Bring me the money. See, vakakar qahij. Bring back my shoes. Qahij. All right. So what you see here is, you see part of that hajj. Hajj means to bring it back, right? This ra makes it transitive. It means that she is making it happen. She is making it happen. Zo rahaj. This zo, remember, it means there's a relationship here, right? There's a relationship. There's a relationship between me and the thing that she's sending back to me. Remember a couple of weeks ago, zashuph, zadej, right? They are brother and sister. Akhir, if I say yinal, if I say akhir zopsasha, what does that mean?
Talking to each other.
Dizopsasha, we are talking to each other. Akhir zopsasha, they are talking to each other. So this zo, it shows that there's a relationship. Okay. Nip, nip. So do you remember a couple of classes ago? Sinodawa, synopsasha, sinokwa. What does that mean, Satanai? Do you remember? Okay, so if I say sopsasha, Satanai, What does that mean?
I'm talking.
I'm talking. And if I say synopsata,
I'm talking to you.
I'm talking to you. So this sino means I'm doing it to you. Synopsata, I'm talking to you. Synodawa, I'm listening to you. Synokwa, I'm going to you. Give me 1 second. Sabina, you just to see class and just
It's so cute.
fix her little doll. Yeah.
Can we say hello, Janti?
Yeah.
Can we see your little one?
No time to play, Shanti.
She's shy.
Sabina, it's Maydeen.
What does it mean if I say yochwapsa? She desires. Okay. 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 All right, guys. Sorry. Like I said, my wife is at an appointment. All the internet people who are watching this are getting a good time, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. So synopsata, synodawa, I'm doing it in your direction. Synokwa, I'm walking to you. Okay. So when she says here, nip huzorahaj, I'm sending you back. I'm returning to you. Nip huzorahaj, I'm sorry, haj, nip huzorahaj, I'm returning to you. Yitosana, the 20, Yitosana, the 20. Iham, Iha is peace. I think this is Arabic word. Iha. Is it Arabic? No?
I don't think so.
Doesn't sound like it.
Okay. I always thought it was Arabic. Iha is peace or part. And you put the M, it's a specific piece or part. Nasuch. Nasuch means until. So, Janti, Nipchuzora Haj, Yitosana Iham Nasuch. I'm returning back to you up until the first 20 parts. So she's reviewed the first 20 chapters of the book, and she's returning to me up until the 20th chapter of the book. Okay? Janti Nipchuzora Haj. Let me do it. Janti Nipchuzora Haj. Yitosana Iham Nasuch. Osra Yazana Iham, the 21st part. So Yitosana is 20th.
Yeah.
Okay. Os is 20. Os is 20. Yitosana is 20th. Yitosana Iham Nasuch, up until the 20th chapter. Actually, Iham can mean chapter. Osra Yazana Iham, the 21st chapter. Zrejer, that is called the metal box. I think we all know what that means. So this is the first clause of the sentence. Osra Yazana Iham Zrejer, the metal box. Khunu. Nur, if I say khunu, what does that mean?
It's just fine. It's fine.
I'm asking for permission. Khunu. So mirdes janu khunu. Can we read this? My son, Baba khunu apshaqaswash. Can you give me a hug? Khunu jugwatlaqatshakunu. Can we buy a toy? Khunu. So she's asking, Khunu, korobka. Korobka Inal. What's korobka?
Box.
Box. In what language?
Выросовза.
In Russian. It means box in Russian. Хunu korobka zhzmu. Instead of saying zhzmu. Ashich, yashich, yashik. So there's two ways. This ashik is actually a Turkish word, but we use it for box. Ashik, yashik. This is a Russified way of saying a Turkish word. They're two spellings of the same word. Jisama. Jisama. Yamiz, what do you think jisama means?
I don't know. Arqam.
Okay. What does khunu mean?
In this context, it's like, is it okay?
Is it okay? And in a general context, perhaps a context that you know this word in more widely, what does khunu mean to you?
Just like what Noor said, fine.
It's fine. It'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Literally, the verb means will happen, to exist.
Just
So if I say khunuma, what does it mean if I put ma at the end of a verb?
Like,
Is it okay? Or
If-
will it be okay?
It means if it happens. It means if it happens. So if I say sikwama, if I go, sadawama, if I listen, sejama, if I read, sepsachama, if I speak. So ma at the end of any verb, it basically puts it in the subjunctive case, if it happens. Sasokwa, I'm going. Sikwama, if I go. Sasopsacha, I'm speaking. Sipsachama, if I speak. Okay, so jisano, I will say. I'm saying. Jisma, if I can say. Okay, jisma, apuedo, like that. Apuedo, nachaf. Maydeen, what do you think nachaf means? Do you know nachaf?
no, I don't.
Nachaf. Who knows what's berzaj? Do you know what nachaf means?
Better?
Better. Nachaf sigurash. Albert, I know you know this word.
Sigorish.
Mhm.
Sigorish, I think.
I think.
Yeah.
I think. Tosher Yazana Aham Zerejer, the metal box, the 21st chapter called The Metal Box. Khunu korobka jizmu ashik yashik jisma. So could I say, instead of korobka, Russian word, is it okay if I say ashik or yashik instead of this Russian word, korobka? That's what this is saying here. Okay. Jisma, can I say it? If I say it, we use it, it means if I say it, but in this context, she's asking permission. Khunu jisma, right? I think that's better. Like that, I think is better. We wouldn't say ar. You could, but it's grammatically correct, but it sounds odd. It would be like calling an alarm clock a time machine. Technically correct, grammatically correct, culturally just a little wonky, right? Is all of this clear?
Oh, yeah.
This is just, I mean, this is just a casual email.
Honestly, I hear these words a lot during like board meetings at CBA or something like that, just because people will be bouncing ideas around and they'll say like, you know, things like that. Right?
That's
I
better.
think this is, yeah, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's better.
I've heard that before.
May I speak? Right? Maydeen, whoopsawi'a.
I have kind of a stupid question that might
There's
not
no
even,
such thing as stupid questions.
well, this question might not even be anything, but I'm genuinely wondering. So in English, whenever we use a parenthesis, there's always one that follows after it, right? In the second line of this
Yeah,
email, there's a
that's not a
parenthesis.
stupid question at all. That's
It's a
I
not.
was
A,
smiley
wondering what
face.
it's there for or what
Yeah.
it could mean.
so this is this.
Oh, the question mark and the smiley face?
No, just so in on the Russian keyboard, the equal sign is not close to the parenthesis sign. So they'll do this or they'll do this instead.
Oh, you know, I've
Or
seen
they'll go-
Margot do that before.
And that's like, and this is like
More of
L O
them.
L L L L L L if they go like this.
I've seen Margot do that before, and I didn't know if it was just a typo or something. So that's actually really interesting, and it makes it gives more context to the email too. Like
Yep.
it's you know what I mean? I don't know.
It's
That's
real. It's not like manufactured like dear mother, today I woke up at dawn and walked 5 kilometers and then washed dishes at summer camp. I cannot wait to come back to you and hug my little brother and sister. You know, it's
That's-
not like
that's
fake
cool.
talk. It's real talk, right?
No, that's really cool.
And you know, little things like this are important because if anybody who comes to the United States and has never seen English, how would you ever know this is number?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if this O, how do I do this? Hang on. Especially if this little O text, especially if it's like that.
Yeah.
How the heck would you know that means number?
Yeah, it's interesting for me to find those little things.
Or if you saw this, for example, 25 degrees. How would you know that that means degrees if you did not have a native speaker kind of guiding you, right? So that's an excellent question. And I actually, thanks for pointing it out. I meant to call it out and I forgot to. So that's a great question. Also, the other thing you might have picked up on is in Russian, this is a quotation mark.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that too, because I wasn't sure. Because whenever something's, whenever a title is in, like, there's usually something that's accompanied by it. So that's what I was asking about too.
So yeah, I mean, we would do this in English. But that is this is a Russian quotation mark. And for the life of me, just so you're aware, I can never find that friggin' mark on my keyboard. I actually have a keyboard from Russia. I have a Microsoft keyboard from Russia, and I'm blind to it. I'm sure it's on here somewhere.
There should be a system setting somewhere that just matches them automatically.
No, I know it exists. I bought this in Moscow. I bought the keyboard in Moscow.
No, yeah, but like realistically, you never need to find the other one. It should just match it automatically for you. If you put 2 quotation mark, it'll just make them right.
Oh, really?
There should be a setting somewhere in like system setting somewhere.
Cool. I will find it one day.
Yeah.
So let's go back to this. Also, the metal box. By the way, I want you guys to bear in mind, I never had a teacher. I'm not special. I'm just hard-headed. So believe me, you guys can get to this point a lot faster than I did. All right. All right. There is a detchum. Okay. So there is a, okay. Okay. This is a verb. Zetchin. Well, it's not used as a verb here, but it's normally a verb. Is detchum the translation? Is detchum the translation? Zere. Zere. I've said once or twice what this prefix means. Does anybody remember what this prefix means? Zere. If I say we mahur dawa zerehua, how did your day go? Abquado or ar dawa zarjus anur. How do I say that? So zar is a prefix that means how is something done. It can be done as, you can use it as a question, you can use it as a statement. So what she's saying here is zar, oh, I put the mark in the wrong place. Zar zazdachum, the way that I translated, or the way of the translation. Zagwar. Mr. Bzaja, what's Zagwar?
Something.
Something.
Mist.
Something. Mistgwar. Mistgwar is different, but this is Zagwar. Zagwar, something, or someone, but right now, just like ar means he, she, or it, Zagwar can mean something or someone. But here, because she's referring to the translation, she's talking about something. Zarizadacham Zagwar Yig Yirimeh. Who's going to take a guess at this? Yigrimeh.
You like.
Say it again.
You like.
If
Don't
you
like.
don't like. If you don't like.
That was
If,
close.
so yig, wig, your heart. Wigiroh, your heart is carried. Remember, your heart is carried. You like. Wigroh, wigroh. Okay. Wigurmeh. M, wumapsatha. M. Remember this, you know? Wumapsatha. Wigirimeh. If you don't like something. Qachma. 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 If it comes out, if you don't like the way that something comes out. Zanchul. Who knows what zanchul means?
Straight away.
Straight. All the dancers know zanchul. Zanchul fukwa. Zanchul fukawuv. Yeah. Zanchul fukwa. Walk straight. Zanchul fukawuv. Actually, any boy. How many times did our fathers take your hands out of your pocket, stand up straight? I knew what that meant when I was like 3 years old. Zanchul qajea. Zanchul qajea. Ola, you want to take a shot at this?
I heard kajea before, but I forgot what it means.
So qajea means tell me. Tell me. Qajea means tell me. Qajea, that little A, so
Something in the
it's this,
past.
it's this letter here. If this was qajea, it would be tell me, but I'm not specifying Zagwar qajea, tell me something. Okay. Witsar qajea, tell me your name. It's like, it's very defined. But here when we say qajea, it's undefined. This is a very minor point, but it's undefined. Qajea. Because why? What is she asking me to tell her? Anything that I don't like in the translation. It's very broad. It's very undefined. Qajea. Okay, so this whole clause, I'll get rid of this little dash. That is a that. I'm sorry. That is as detchum. Zagwar. Wigirimih. Qachma. Zanchu qajea. If you don't like something in the translation, if you don't like something that came out of the translation, tell me straightly. Tell me right away. She's saying tell me straightly, but the idea here is tell me right away. Zanchu qajea. I tell my kids all the time. Actually, I say this all the time. Zagwar mumugrihama zanchu qajea. Because I always want to have a big open relationship with my kids. If you don't like something, tell me right away. Zanchu, tell me honestly. Tell me straight away. Same concept. Same concept. Sa, that's an easy word. We all know sa, right?
Me.
Me,
I.
I. Okay, I saw these vacant stares. Is that a trick question? I or me? Sa. Zerachucha. I have to keep going to give you the context. Zerachucha yuj. Okay, this is a little complicated. Sa zerachucha yuj sich. Sa zerachucha yuj sich. It's my end goal. That's the best I can describe it right now. Sa zerachucha yuj sich. Textem. Take a guess what textem is.
Text.
Text. The text. Textem.
Mhm.
Huaqabzu. Cleanly for you. Cleanly for you. Huaqabzu. Zezdachino. This is related to this word. What do we think this word means? Zezdachino. I will translate. I will translate. I'm sorry, the verb means I will translate. Zezdachino. Awa. What's awa? I say awa all the time.
But.
However, yichi
And.
Adigebzer. Adigebzu. Kazghananu. Awa yichi adigebzer. Adigebzu kazghananu. And I will leave the Circassianly. Adigebzer, the Circassian. Adigebzu, Circassianly. Kazghananu, I will leave. Kazghananu. Kazghananu, I will leave. Okay. So Zeriz as datcham zagwar wig yirimeh bechachma zanchu qjea. If you see something, or if there's something in my translation that you don't like, tell me straight away. Sa zerchucha yuj sich. It is my end goal. Textem huqabzu zazdachinu. It is my end goal to cleanly, for you cleanly translate this text. Awa yichi, but also adigebzer, adigebzu, kazghananu, but also to leave the Circassianly. So what she's saying here, this is a challenge that we have in Circassian. There's a challenge in translation to make sure that what you say is grammatically correct and the same in both languages, but also culturally correct, right? So if I say, I'm going over Berzej's house, right? If I translated that literally, it would be, here's his house, here's me, and I'm jumping and I'm going over his house, right? So if I translate it literally, that's what I would say. If I translate it figuratively, I am going to Berzej's house. But then if you look at these two translations and you're trying to learn a language, you're trying to think, well, where's the word up? Where's the word over? Why do I not see that word? So this is part of the challenge that we have, all translators have, when we're creating what we call parallel texts. We want the parallel structure to be as close as possible so that you don't look at it and say, well, why? He says he's going over, like over the speed limit, over my head. Why is it over the house? So we need to make sure that the grammatical stuff is there, but we also need to make sure that the conversation, the cultural stuff is there. So for example, I did a survey for Optolingo where we were considering the idea of testing English for Russian speakers. And at the end of the survey, we said something like, I apologize for the inconvenience or something like that. And my wife and my sister-in-law, like, Russians don't say this. Russians don't apologize for inconvenience. You are inconveniencing them by being alive. That's just the way they operate. That's their mentality. This is an admission of weakness. You don't say this, right? So there's an example of where culturally, there's this idea that is not parallel in these two cultures. And so that's another concept here. So what she's saying here is, I want to translate this for you and I want it to be clean, but I want the Circassian to be real Circassian. Adigebzer, adigebzu, kazghanenu. Everything clear so far?
Mhm.
Good.
It's clear to me. Well, I promise, like I said, this we're doing this because the other class got canceled a little bit. They're not all going to be like this, especially since we did last week. You guys are thinking, oh my God, every week he's going to make us do something uncomfortable because we did the linking game last class. And Al, what's your question?
If "ao" means but, why do you put "and" right after it?
Because in Russian we don't have e and a. In Circassian we don't have e and a like you have in Russian. Because she's connecting two things. I'm trying to think.
No, because it's just
and
weird.
also.
And also.
The way that I would contextualize this, yes, it's however, but the way I'm reading this is and also.
I see.
And also.
Okay.
However, also. She's making a contrast here.
Yeah. It probably makes sense if there was an actual also. Okay.
All right. We're almost done. Pej. It's true. Pej. Zawa kwadu selajifqam. Zawa. This is a hard word to translate. You know, how would you translate srazu?
Right away. ASAP.
Yeah. That's how you translate it?
Srazu, well, it's like right away, this instant.
Okay.
Instantly, you can say.
You know what? Okay, thank you for that. Yes. Zawa at this instant. Srazu. It's srazu in this context. But I never thought. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Srazu, like it depends on the context that you use it. You can say that happened together with that, you know.
Yeah,
Srazu, and then right away he moves.
Yeah. So pej, it's true. Zawa kwadu selajifqam. It's true at this moment, at this instant, I'm not able to work a lot. Kwadu, a lot. Adverb form of kwad. Kwadu selajifqam. I'm not able to work. Right? Selajifqam. I'm not able to work. Takwara, little by little. Takwara, I'm sorry. Takwara, little by little. Khazghasu, arash. Khazghasu. I'm working my way through it. I'm working my way out of it. It's not obvious, but that's the context here. Awa, however, zarajasashi, as I have said, zere, how it was done. Jasash, I said. Sajasash, I said. Zarajasashi, as I said. Mamazim. You guys know mamazim.
This month, this week.
This month. Mamazim. Suchin sigurosh. I think I will finish. Pej. Zawa kwadu selajifqam. It's true. At this instant, I'm not able to work a lot. Little by little, I'm working my way through it. Awa, however, zarajasashi, as I said, mamazim, this month, suchin sigurosh. I will finish, I think.
What is the word for this week?
Matamachum.
Tamachum.
Tamachua means week. So Mahua means day. Ta means God.
Tamachua, that's Sunday.
Tamachua is Sunday, and Tamachua means week.
That's what I got mixed up.
So. Daka did this. So Ta means God, Mahua means day, Tamachua means Sunday. The completion of 1 week ends on Sunday in the Circassian calendar. So Tamachua also means week. And sometimes to avoid any sort of ambiguity, some people, especially older people, well, younger people don't use days of the week in common speech. They use the Russian days of the week. Воскресенье, for Sunday. They'll say Hamahua Mahua, Sunday week, Sunday day. Right? So Mamazim Suwuchin Sigurash. I think I will finish this month. Sinawupsunu. How do we say question?
Synopsha.
You're onto the track, but what's the word just for question as a noun?
Nope.
Whoopsa.
Whoopsa, yeah.
Whoopsa. Whoopsa. So when I say sino, what does it mean? We just covered this a minute ago. Sino.
Me ask you.
Sinowupsu. Sinowupsunu. Sinopsatha. I speak to you. Sinowups. I'm asking you. Sinowupsunu. I'm going to ask you. Sinowupsunu suhwesh. I want to ask you. Sinowupsunu suhwesh. I want to ask you. Sinowupsunu suhwesh. I want to ask you. Mirwi khabarer. Mirwi khabarer. This your story. Shhahu. Privately. Privately. Shhahu. Tablitsum. You know, Russian word. Tell everyone what's tablits.
Table,
Table.
but like an Excel
Columns, like columns of text. Yeah. So the documents in Excel. No, I'm sorry, the documents in Microsoft Word, but the way that it's formatted, because we're trying to create parallel text, that's also a graded reader. We have English, we have Russian, we have Circassian. So tablitsum. Actually, in Circassian, we would say the things that come down. I saw that in a book I was reading the other day. It was a textbook from Melchik. Yimitu, without it being in it. Tablitsum, yimitu, without being in the columns, in the table. Psunuka, psunuka. If, would it be possible for me to make it? This is a very, very, very super common. I want to ask you something. I want to ask you something. I want to ask you something. This, your story that is private, because this is my content. Tablitsem yim'u psunuka. Is it okay if I take it out of the tablet, out of the columns? Janchwati, Janchwat is her son. Janchwati yejenu art jzoa. Okay, so I'm not actually sure why she put the E here. This is new to me. She's native speaker. I'm Circassian as a second language guy. So Janchwat is her son's name. Janchwati. I'm not sure what that means. I trust her judgment. Yejenu, to read. Arat jzoa. We covered jzoa last class. We did it very briefly. What does jzoa mean?
I say.
I am saying, I say. Okay. Ara means maybe, might, possible. There's, you know, you'll notice, Yunal, if you go around native speakers in homeland, they use the word может быть, because we don't have может быть. We don't have maybe in Circassian. Well, we do, but most Circassians have forgotten it. So para means maybe. or might. Okay, parat might be. We have a lot of ways to say maybe or might. We also have a way to say almost. I'm not going to get into it right now. So what she's saying here is so I'm trying to think. Oh my God, my brain, in polite Russian, how do you say, couldn't you tell me?
Вы не могли мне сказать?
Couldn't you tell me? So in Russian, the way they would say, they don't say, could you tell me? They say, couldn't you tell me? So as a result of this, native speakers of Circassian have adopted this politeness in their speech. And what she's saying here is, I'm saying maybe it would be possible for me to do this for my son. So it's a very kind structure of the language. Very similar, nobody hears, well, George speaks some Russian. Nobody hears a native Russian speaker, but it's very similar to, couldn't you tell me? Instead of, could you tell me? You could say, could you tell me? But it's much more, Russian is actually a very polite language. It has lots of niceties, not necessarily formalities, but niceties, politenesses built into the language. And that's exactly what this here is. I'm saying for the purpose of maybe my son reading. Okay, so she's being very polite here. Abichem yafavsh detectiver. They like detective novels. I don't know why she says abichem. Abichem means they. Abichem yafavsh, they like. Detectiver, they like detective stories, detective novels. Okay. Zacharash. Все. That's it. Zacharash. Zacha means straight away. It's similar to srazu, similar to zau. Zacharash. That's it. It's like, I'm done. But it's a nice way of saying it. Zacharash. So if I'm like in a business meeting and if I'm in a business meeting or if I'm with my friends or family, I say, I'm done. It's like, it's not a nice thing to say or do. But here, if I say zacha arash, it's like, that's it. I'm good. It's a very polite thing to say here. Wuz, pain. Wuz zekwar, painful journey. Zichi, not at all. May you not touch a painful journey. May God allow you to not touch a painful journey. This is old Circassian speak. This is something older people might say. As Circassians, most of us are Circassians, like when you're a kid and your parents took you to somebody's house and they said, all right, we're going to leave now. And then they stood at the door for a half an hour speaking with their keys in their hand and the door open and everybody's freezing for 30 minutes long. And they're just talking. They're not having a conversation. They're saying things like this. May God give you great life. May your children have great success. all these things. This is what they're saying. And so, may God allow you to not touch a painful journey.
That's kind of like when two mothers are they have their conversation and before they hang up, it takes like 10 minutes of blessings. And then.
Yes, that's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
There's a joke. I invented this joke. There's a joke that I invented. I say, how are Circassian men different from all other men? I'll tell you. Most men leave without ever saying goodbye. Circassian men say goodbye and never leave. Okay. We whoopsichem your questions. We whoopsichem whoopsu submit me. This is this is a native speaker. And I can tell at this point, I don't think she's sheltering her language. She may be, but just looking at the construction of some of these things, I'm pretty sure she's just like, typing away on her keyboard like she would type to anybody. We whoopsukam whoopsu submit me. Your questions, if they do not exist as questionly, that's what this is. We whoopsukam, your questions, whoopsu, questionly, submit me, if they don't exist as such. We whoopsukam whoopsu submit me, we psatha zechaschinu, sorry. We psatha zechaschinu, sitem deji siguapas. We psatha, your word, your voice. So here it is psatha as word, but because again, this is a borrowed construction from Russian speech, golos, right? It's hard to I'm thinking as Russian, but we psatha, your voice, even though it's word, your word, zechaschinu, I hear, sitem deji. Ola, what's sitem deji? We know sitem deji.
Often.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. Siguapas. We psatha zechaschinu sitem deji siguapas. It is always a pleasure to hear your voice. Because we also have a WhatsApp group where we do sometimes I'm too tired to type everything, or it takes me forever to just peck like this. We psatha zechaschinu sitem deji siguapas. It's always a pleasure to hear your voice. Margot, my wife Margot, yemak. So now she used the word voice. I guess she just contrasted, using different words to make it not repetitive. Margot, yemak. This is a hard word. Zor. Zor. A little peep. Zre. Zre, all by itself means a little tiny bit. Okay, so yemak. Zor, a little tiny peep. Quad shawa sichaschapim. Quad shawa, in a long time. Sichaschapim, I have not heard. Margot yemak zor, quad shawa sichaschapim. I haven't heard a little peep from Margot in a long time. Psori salam swikij. We know this, right?
Say hi to everyone.
Yeah.
Say salam to everybody. So
John, do you have a question about that last one there?
Yeah.
The square fish. Is that not for just passing along to one person? If it's more than one, it'd be swift.
no, because you're doing it on my behalf. Whether I'm telling you to do it to 10 people or to one person, you are doing it on my behalf. So squehij does not change.
When would you ever say swift?
Squehij. Ah, yes, I'm sorry. She's talking to me. Salam squehij. If I was talking to 2 or more people, squehij.
But she uses psori.
Psomi is a group of people.
Psori. Ah.
But who's doing the salam? Is it the other people or am I doing the salam?
Well, you're giving it.
I am doing the salam.
One person.
It's me. I am the one person. Okay, so it's like this. I want you to tell him my name. I want you to tell these 10 people my name. Who's telling the name in both cases?
You.
Yeah.
And I'm singular in both cases. So if she was writing this letter, this email, it's an email, but if she wrote this letter to me and my wife at the same time, then it would be squifkij.
Wait a minute, repeat that, please.
Somi salam squifkij. If she was writing this letter to me and at least one other person, she's talking to plural people now. She's telling us to do it.
Okay.
Azgurash.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. So that was a doozy. That was a doozy. Only took us an hour to go through it, right? But you know what? Like I said, the reason I wanted to share this with you is this is natural speech. I mean, what we do in this class is not unnatural, but it is simplified. This is natural speech. It's modern topics. You know, I don't think she was holding anything back. And like I said, I had the other class unexpectedly get canceled because I got a work thing tomorrow. I teach them in the mornings. So anyways, what I see so many like blank stares right now. Are you guys in shock? Was this too much? What's going through? Tell me how you're processing this, George.
Okay. So I will try to say this in as constructive a way as I can. No, because I mean, because I think, John T, what you asked us, most of what you've asked us in this class was whether we were uncomfortable or whether we found it hard. But for me, that's not what it was. For me, I just found it boring. I don't know about others,
Okay.
but I found it super boring. I don't know because I don't know if it's because of like the method you used today to teach, or if it was because of me that it doesn't fit my learning style. I'm not sure, but I don't know. It really did not sit with me at all. Like I had a really hard time focusing. So I think maybe I can help. I don't know, because I think since the not the beginning, but since recently in this term in 2022, I feel like I haven't made that much progress as much as I did back last semester, last semester. And I don't know if it's because there are new students and you don't want to teach too much new stuff, too much new information to them so as not to confuse them, or if there's another reason. But I don't know. I feel like my progress is kind of slow. And also like it's not my progress that's the important thing. It's more like whether I feel like stimulated, whether I feel like there's a challenge or like new things going on. But I feel like I haven't gotten that for the past few weeks. So
Okay.
I don't know. I think maybe you should go back to the format you used last semester, like give us lots of new words and ask us things and make us ask things, because so basically you say grammar is boring and stuff, but if you asked me whether I would prefer a grammar lesson or what you gave us today, I'd take a grammar lesson any day, basically. Because it's more, because you feel like you're like first of all, there's more structure, what you're doing and where things are going, and also you feel like you're learning stuff, because in this class it's like you're just giving us some random sentences, like even if they're modern speech, yeah, sure, but like what am I to take from that? I'm not sure. Like it's like random sentences. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for the
No, I asked for the
I
feedback.
hope this helps you for the future. Maybe.
Yep. Anybody? Well, I know Yanal and Maydeen have their hands up, but is anybody else feeling that way?
Yeah, so I wanted to add on to what George was saying. So I liked how we were able to go over how a conversation between two speakers would look like. I think that's important to see. I think I found it kind of boring too, to be honest, but I think part of it has to do with formatting. We're used to all the colors. We're used to it grabbing our attention more. And right now we're just seeing a bunch of words, and like I know the alphabet, but I can't necessarily read it, and I still have trouble speaking it. And I think a lot of it has to do with formatting. And honestly, that's how a lot of our brains work. If we see something that's not appealing to us, we're going to be thrown off by it, and we're not going to be as excited to look at it.
Mhm.
That's part of why marketing uses all these colorful colors. So I think a lot of it just had to do with formatting, and I don't know how you would fix the formatting on an email that got sent to you. But I think that was part of it. I found it boring too, but I still think it's important to see two speakers, like two good speakers talking to each other in that type of style.
Okay. You now.
Yeah, also feedback, wrote it down. So I personally, I mean, I didn't find it as exciting as the other lessons, but I wouldn't call it boring to say. I did pick up a lot of words and phrases that I've been like looking for and trying to find. So I found it very good in that sense.
Okay.
However, I don't know if anybody else has this feeling, but whenever you go through the phrases like that, I try to memorize them, whether I like to or not. It's just something that I do. And there were a lot of new words here. So at some point I just got overwhelmed.
Sure.
But yeah, and one thing that I did notice about halfway through was that for a lot of words, first time reading them, I didn't understand them at all. But then as soon as you gave the translation, for example, I was able to see, okay, daje, and then I was able to deconstruct the word completely and fully understand it. But then until that point, until I understood that this has to do with work, so the root verb is work, and then I wasn't able to read it because I'm thinking, okay, it starts with something unfamiliar, so it must be a completely different word. So, but that again has to do with Dean's point about like formatting, because we're so used to formatting from the other slides.
Okay. Berzej.
I just wanted to say I'm learning how to read right now, and just by going over those exercises, it's really valuable to me because first off, you read it and you pronounce it, and I'm able to read and pronounce it right after you say it. And I always struggle reading things in a diabza on the internet without that guidance that you're giving. So by you doing this and that burst of information, it really actually helps me read other content as well. So that's the way I appreciate it. I understand, with other people having different, thoughts about it, but with me, it really helps me learn how to read and understand words and word structure.
Yemiz.
Yeah, I would say I feel similar to Berzej. Of course, he understands and has a better vocabulary than I do. I would say that's probably what made some people feel like they weren't as connected to it. But I think the overall interest level is going to be different for everybody. I mean, I can read decently, but I don't know the words that I'm reading. So I found it very interesting to me. But for people who don't have that level of reading, it might have not been as interesting for them. I'm sure a lot of the things we were learning since day one, right? Or sit. For someone like Berzej, was very basic, and he told me plenty of times he's learned a lot, but everyone's at a different level, so everyone's going to appreciate it in a different way.
Sure.
So I found it very valuable. Thank you.
Okay. You know?
I just wanted to add on to to George's point with regards to progress. I do also feel like the progress we've made this semester is much slower than we did last semester, but I should also say that not everybody here has the opportunity to practice outside of class because not everybody has people who speak the language. So doing that repetition really helps to cement it in.
Right.
So there is value in repetition.
So I think the feedback I'm taking, go ahead, Nadine.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to hop on to what Yemiz was saying. Everybody's on different levels, and I mean, I'm still in school, so like sometimes you have to learn things that like might not always be at best interest for you, but in the end it is going to be helpful. So I think, like I said before, it wasn't that it was like boring to the point where I just wanted to like take out my ears. It was just kind of I didn't know what else to use as an analogy. I'm sorry. But I was comparing it to my psychology class, but I think it is a valuable lesson to have, and I did appreciate the lesson that we have because it's something different, and it's definitely out of my comfort zone. I can't really read that well in a Digebza, so I think it's good in the long term. But of course, somebody that's more experienced, like George, is going to be different. And like he said, everyone has different learning styles. So it's a hit or miss for some people, and that's okay.
Damn right, it's okay.
Satanai.
So I don't read, but I thought it was, like said, there was a lot of terminologies that I kind of felt unfamiliar with, that I thought I could even use in day-to-day conversation. So I like that part. I think maybe the first portion would have been enough, just because there's a lot of content in there. Just like maybe break it in half. Maybe that would have been good. But I thought it was valuable because, there's a lot of new terminology that I could use. So thank you.
George?
Yeah, so I had a thought. I think maybe maybe the reason why I feel this way is because partly because of my learning style, because the way I learn in general is very, very, very square and structured. Like for example, if I'm learning a language, it's always the same steps all the time. It's like, okay, like if I'm gonna learn words, and then I'm gonna build sentences with them, and then I'm gonna use them with someone. Word, sentence, use with someone. Word, sentence, use with someone. It's very repetitive and structured, and I feel like that's how I learn best. But I think with you, sometimes it's a little bit more random, because, or in my perspective at least, because one class you're gonna use one method, in another class you're gonna use another one, and then you're gonna like show us sentences from a conversation that had nothing to do with last time, or like, or it's things like that. And I think it's because I think you said you wanted to make it more more like not applicable to real life, but like you wanted to make it feel more like it, as if it were as if we were in a real life situation, in which you have to like improvise more. I suppose that's maybe what you were thinking. But I don't know. I feel like maybe that's sometimes like sometimes it's okay. I can deal with it, but other times, like today, it was like way. I don't know. I got lost easily, and it's not because it's not necessarily that the fact that it was boring per se. It was more like I didn't know what to take away from the class. It was more because of that. So yeah, usually I find something not boring when I can take something away, and if I feel stimulated. So I hope that helps. Maybe if it's more concrete. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Ola.
Yeah, I just want to stress on a point that you've mentioned. This was not part of the class. It was just for us to stay on pace. So I don't feel like we can really judge it based on today's class. But in general, I think it was just like everybody else said, a lot of us read, and then it wouldn't be fair not to have that included. But maybe because it was for 90 minutes, it was more on the boring side for the majority. But again,
Yeah.
I know that it's just to stay on track with the rest,
Yeah.
like with the other class.
Okay. Well, this is really helpful feedback. My takeaway is stick with more. I do hear the feedback about, are we not learning as much this class? And I asked a couple of classes ago, should we go deep into one given verb, or should we go far into a story? Like, do we go vertically into one verb, or do we go horizontally across the story so we can get more vocabulary and stuff like that? So I think what I'll do is I'll have a return to basics. So the next time that we get together, we'll have more of that classic TPRS story format. And I'm not going to go so deep into verbs, which is what I thought you guys wanted, but I'll just go not faster, but I'll go more horizontal across the story to give you guys more exposure to various word structures and stuff. Sound good?
Good.
Cool.
Yep.
Thank you guys for the honest feedback. It helps me do a better job in these class for you guys, for others as well. So I do thank you for the feedback.
Good class, Janti.
Thanks.
I'm not trying to brown nose you.
You guys can also take a nap now. Now that I put you to sleep, I've gotten you guys relaxed for the evening. See you guys.
Was that